It is Wednesday, the second day of April 2025, and big news. A new record was set yesterday, one that no one thought would ever be broken or thought it should be at all fucking necessary. But Cory Booker, the Democratic senator from New Jersey, stepped up to the mic yesterday in open chamber, proceeded to give a speech. Shouldn't even say yesterday, it's 2 days ago. Speech lasted 25 hours and 5 minutes. Wow. Basically, prepared for a few days beforehand by fasting and limiting his liquids so he wouldn't have to go pee pee or poo poo. But got up there for 25 hours plus just to rail against, the various cuts, kidnappings and other bullshit. Which for some reason, why is that word not being used? Kidnapping instead of disappearing people. What does that mean? It's the same fucking thing. Grow up. It's like, oh, if you're brown and have a visa, well, we're gonna fucking kidnap you and send you to El Salvador. That's terrific. That's great. That works out wonderful. But basically, it was up there, talking about Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid, and how, the goal of the administration is to just simply ruin the country, enough that their associated friends and some in a lot of cases themselves, the vice president included, can just reap the benefits of a broken society for their own consolidation of power. But Cory Booker stood up to that for 25 hours and 5 minutes. And he broke a record that was previously held by the legendary piece of shit Strom Thurmond of South Carolina, the poster boy for term limits, Strom Thurmond. He was actually filibustering against the Civil Rights Act in the late 60s by reading newspapers, the dictionary, and other things, because he was an idiot. And instead of a straight stream of consciousness like Cory Booker and like preparing for it, he just pulled out a bunch of gobbledygook. Now, two totally different things. The filibuster by Thurmond was, literally to stall a vote, whereas what Booker did over the course of the last couple days was performative, if you ask me. But I mean, it was performative in a way that it really felt like it was just an audition for Cory Booker's 2028 Democratic nomination. And look, I'm impressed because look, um, a feat stamina. However, also, a couple days ago, was a report that the overall approval rating for the Democratic Party is currently at 21%. But, they had a guy that, got up and gave a speech for 24 hours, so we're supposed to forget about how mostly inept they've been over the course of the last nine to 12 months minimum. It's exhausting. Almost as exhausting as giving a speech for 25 hours. Good for him though. And look, I don't dislike Booker. I just, he's another politician and ultimately looking out for number one. That's it. So I mean, I'm impressed with the longevity of the speech. I'm impressed by some of the content because look, unless you're giving ideas or if you're being active in terms of trying to shut this shit down, what was the point? Because I'm fairly certain, most of the nominees for the cabinet he voted for, he approved. So like, please don't come up with this fucking nonsense, and then don't have the proof that it's saying that you're doing anything other than performing for a day. Again, exhausting. Moving on. This week, I'm talking about hangovers, conversations, snack foods, the Red Sox, WrestleMania, an idea that may or may not take, like the rest of my shitty ideas. Mainly because I'm having trouble like figuring it out. In theory, I think it's a decent idea, but we'll see. Pretty sure I have a voicemail. I do know that I got a text message on the complaint line, so talking about that. And of course, the legendary three gripes. It's almost a certainty that I will forget one or more of those things right here on episode number 182 of Complaints and Observations.
Still, a voyage into the mundane and an exercise in futility. Swimming in the absurd while drowning in unearned self-importance. Entirely unworthy of your time. It is the world's worst podcast. This is Complaints and Observations with Dave LaPointe. Who the hell is Dave LaPointe?
I think he's a bum. I think he's an absolute bum.
All right. Good day. How's it going? All three of you. Hope you're well. Hope things are going okay. I was literally just looking at my numbers, the listener numbers for the show. And I literally said out loud, God, I wish I could just get some traction. And then I immediately thought to myself, why? Yeah, fair question, yeah. As I bang the microphone around. I think I need a new microphone too, because this thing sounds like garbage. And so I have to remedy that problem. But it's an investment that I literally cannot make. The last 3 months at the old job were not good. Um, my numbers were horrific. And so I have been placed on a performance improvement plan. Now, listen, this has happened to me once before, but there was some reasons beyond my I couldn't help it. Basically, is probably the best way to put it. Um, Q1 2020, which of course was COVID, and then I was given a whole, not even a month. Boy, now that I think about that, man, I get kind of hosed. Not the point. The point is, I didn't really have much control over that, and I don't really have a ton of control over this. I have some, probably a little bit more than that than 2020, but not much. The number of people who are just petrified of what's going on in this country and feel the need to hold on to every penny. At least the people that I've talked to. The downside is I can't use that excuse because other people are doing well. So it's, it's as with most things in sales, 50% of it's luck. So I've just been unlucky. But, moving on, we'll figure it out. So I had a point there, but I can't remember what it was. Oh, Saturday was the annual Irish breakfast held by a friend of a friend at a local pub. Started at 8:30 and basically drank from 8:30 to 10:30 that evening. Needless to say, I was hungover on Sunday, and then also hungover on Monday, and probably a little bit hungover Tuesday morning. Granted, I did drink a lot. However, um, in the moment, I didn't think I was drinking that much, but apparently I was. Now, here's the thing, right? I like drinking. I like alcohol, and no, I don't have a problem, quote unquote. So, yeah, enough of that. But I'm old. I'm old, and I don't drink a lot. Like, and here's the thing, right? Uh, I'm not an alcoholic by any stretch of the imagination. This is a once. I mean, I haven't drank to this excess in, I would say, a solid 6 months to a year. So I felt like shit. Missed out on hanging out with friends on Sunday, which would have been a blast. And I had committed to it, thinking, yeah, I'll be fine. Nope, not fine. Not fine. It's one of these weird things that you have to. I would imagine that a lot of people come to grips with something like this around my age, maybe even sooner. Who knows? There are people who become alcoholics at a young age and need to come to grips with it much sooner. And I am blessed in the fact that, not being an alcoholic, it has taken me to almost year completing year 47 uh to come to that realization that I just can't do that anymore. Like, literally can't do it. Those of you who can, hey, congratulations, happy for you. I don't know why, but yeah, happy for you. But I can't do it. So we have to stop. So, reeling it in, a couple drinks here and there, not so bad. 3, 4 drinks here and there every once in a while, not so bad. Anything more than that, that's it. Can't do it. Dunzo. But yeah, it's funny how the how age works. What a stupid fucking thing to say. Yeah. And the worst part about it, one of the worst parts about getting old is the way that your conversations change, right? And so Saturday morning, with friends at this event, and for like the first, I don't know, 15 minutes, the conversations were talking about, like, ailments, health. And it's such an old trope. It's such a dumb gag where, oh, hey, how you doing? Oh, my back hurts. Oh, did you hear about so and so? It's like, it's one of these things where it's almost like, and I'm going to talk about it later because one of my gripes this week is small talk. So, I mean, this kind of falls into the same thing. But boy, like, how boring are we that we can't come up with anything else to discuss other than various illnesses, ailments, and age. It's such a dull topic, but it's one that's always top of mind, right? It's always top of mind because you live it. I don't know. Maybe I should just start every one of those conversations with, I don't want to fucking talk about this shit. Not to mention, like, eh, I don't want to say it's private because, with your friends, it's not private. Like, your friends, like, that's how it works. But yeah, you don't need to talk about that stuff all the time. Ugh, what a depressing way to. And look, my birthday is coming up on Sunday. I am going to be fucking 47 years old. And so, to me, in my head, 47 is that, like, okay, you're over that mid 40s. Now you're in late 40s. I'm officially late 40s. No longer mid 40s, late 40s. And then you start to think, well, how much time do you have left? Who the fuck knows? It's been a lot of living in my own head over the course of the last, I'd say, week or so, thinking like, oh, geez, like, you know, how much more time do you have? And you can't think like that. That's the problem. If you think of that as opposed to thinking of today, you're going to live in your own head for an extended period of time, which doesn't do any of us any good. You can only live for now. So I have to keep reminding myself of that. I can't do anything about what happened yesterday. I don't know what's coming tomorrow. I can only deal with what's in front of me today. Which I think is a reasonable way to live for the most part. So, listen, I have, like I said, there's a handful of things that I want to talk about. Um, I got a big Red Sox rant because there's a couple things going on that have really fucking pissed me off. Like just and we're fucking 5 games into the season. And I thought that they would be good. Like, look, I cannot abandon ship yet, but the optics aren't great. They're not. They're not great. Yeah. So hold on a second. All right. So I said I had a Red Sox rant, and I do. I fear that they already stink, and I fear, that some of the off-season highlights are or could be a problem, like this Alex Bregman thing. I heard this the other day, and I thought, all right, that makes a bit of sense. Who else was actually interested in Alex Bregman, right? Detroit made an offer, but I guess it wasn't, anywhere close to what the Red Sox paid him. The Astros, I guess, didn't. Now, that smells, if you ask me. But, he was such a big, important part of that club, and they didn't make him an offer. It seems a little weird, no? That's not, but I mean, that's not even really my biggest issue, right? Selfishly, I made the rather rash choice to support those who gamble, to take the over, the season over. And thus far, it looks like a shining example of why I retired from gambling. 5 games, and they're mostly a mess, with a lineup who hasn't hit, except for fucking Christian Campbell. Kristen, whatever the fuck his name. I can't get over the kid's hair. It's wild. Like, he's playing well. Good for him. I'm sure there's a couple other guys in there, like Abreu. And how do you pronounce his first name? Willier? Willier? I think it's Willier. It shows you how little attention I've paid to this club the last 2 years. I can't name the fucking starting right fielder. But, it just, in the pitching, it's been fine. The pitching has mostly been fine. But, I mean, they can't do enough to stay in games on their own through little fault of their own. There are big, big problems, though, right? And of course, number one is Raffy Devers. He just can't put the bat on the ball at all. Friend of the show, Mark, sent a text yesterday that said the following, quote, in 1995, what a year. Man, what a year. He didn't say that part. Tony Gwynn had 535 at-bats and a total of 15 strikeouts. 535 at-bats, 15 strikeouts. This season, Raffy Devers has 19 at-bats and a total of 15 strikeouts. Fucking hell, man. Now look, no one is saying or has ever uttered the words Raffy Devers is as good a hitter as Tony Gwynn. Nope. Sorry, never. In fact, there's like 3 people in the history of the game where you could say that. Ichiro, Wade Boggs, Ted Williams. Moving on. But, like, look, this kid has to be hurt, right? He has to be. And he's fat. Like the fat thing, okay? Here's where here's my thing. And again, as a fat person, I am not good at baseball. Even when I was less of a fat person, I was never good at baseball. Part of the reason is couldn't really see very well, and I was afraid of the ball. So there you go. Revelations everywhere. But like, I can't imagine that. Let's say hypothetically he put on 10 pounds in the off season. 10. Let's say 10, right? So he's a skosh bigger than he was last season. Am I to believe that that 10 pounds has led to him not being able to hit a fastball anymore? I mean, I guess. I don't know. I mean, but that seems to be the case, right? Or every time he does swing the bat, he is physically pained. But he's not this bad. Like he's not. Like we all know that. And put away your theories about him doing this on purpose because they moved him to DH. Like how would that be beneficial to him at all? It wouldn't. It's not like they'd be able to get anything for a malcontent who strikes out 75% of the time. Well, like 80% of the time. They wouldn't. So I mean, that wouldn't be a very good strategy. And if that was the case, he should never play in the league again. So I mean, that's a big problem. The other thing that I have there is that Cora does not want to seem to address this properly because everything with this club is a fucking state secret. Everything is just so mysterious. Nobody wants to be honest or say anything. It's so goddamn stupid. And look, in fairness, that's probably sports in general because it's just taken way, way too seriously. Way too seriously on the actual playing field side, the business side, the fan or supporter side. Lighten the fuck up. And look, I'm guilty, but Jesus fucking Christ. If the kid can't play, and if he's striking out 15 times in his first 19 ABs, here's an idea. Don't fucking play him. But you got Cora coming out like, oh, he's not swinging at bad pitches. Hey, that's awesome. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? If he was swinging at bad pitches, you wouldn't be playing him. But because he's swinging at good pitches and not hitting them, you're still sending him out there every day. Like, he needs to be put on the DL. He needs to be fucking, assigned to. Where is there? Oh, it's Portland. I almost said Trenton. Oh, God, I'm old. He needs to go to AAA. He needs to, take some time off, get healthy, and then get at bats somewhere other than the major league lineup. Because right now, today, he is their worst player and should not be playing. That is a fact. You can't argue that. Because if we're looking strictly at numbers, which is what they love to do over there, that should tell you that he should not be playing. But I'm sure that there's some kind of fucking stupid percentage or like swing rate or like fucking ball size or whatever metric they use to lay out their lineup that they're looking at that says he should still be in the lineup. Like, fuck off. And this is the problem, right? The sport fucking stinks now. It, it stinks. It's boring. It's fucking dull. And like, oh, let's put up a pitch clock. That'll help. No, no, that has nothing to do with it. I saw a video today. It was like, baseball's meant to be slow, right? And the guy in this video, I wish I could remember his name, but the guy in the video was like, baseball's meant to be slow. The only reason they want it sped up is because our attention spans are fucking seconds long. And you're trying to market to younger people who, can't look away from their fucking phones for 2 seconds. And again, I'm guilty of that too, and I fucking hate myself for it every single time I look at my phone. But the league itself, it is too data driven. It's too fucking serious, and it's gone the way of the NBA. Look at the NBA, right? Ratings are fucking way down in the NBA. Why do you think? And it's not because the players aren't good. That's not it. Because it's fucking boring. Because all they do is go out there and chuck threes. Why? Because that's how you win games. That's what the data says. So players go out there, that's what they're taught, chuck threes. And it ends up being dull as fuck. You had a game last night, it was the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. Overtime game was like 150 to 149. And normally you'd be like, holy fuck, that's amazing. And it is. But that's like that's a one-off thing. Jokic apparently scored like 60 points. He had fucking probably 1,000 rebounds, 10,000 assists. Because that's what he does every fucking night. And here's one of the reasons why the league is boring. You have a guy like him who does not give a solid fuck about basketball. He's playing basketball because he's good at it and because he gets paid a lot of money to do it. But he does not fucking care about the sport. That is another fact. He doesn't care. He dominates every single time he steps onto a basketball court. It's amazing to watch, except now it's boring because he's the best player in the league by a fucking country mile. By a country, like, who is even remotely close to this big, dumb fucking oaf? That's what he is. He's a fucking magician who happens to be an oaf. Point is, right? In baseball, they're now taught to just fucking swing straight up and try to get home runs. Swing at an angle, create more loft, blah, 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 blah. Increase the amount of home runs. Hey, great. Who actually gets entertainment out of watching a guy? Let's say you watch 162 games a year, and you got a player who, whatever position he plays, who the fuck knows, 500 at bats. Okay, so you watch this guy for 500 at bats. He hits 35 home runs, but he also has 220 strikeouts. Yet he's passed off as a good ball player. Like, how is that a thing? Like, that is not. So you get, the fucking uh the brief like flash 35 times throughout the course of a season. But I mean, from March till mid-August, who cares about any of those home runs? It's fluff. Case in point, during spring training, Red Sox spring training, it was reported by both the Boston Globe and an outfit called Athlon Sports that Jim Rice was at spring training, as always, as he is wont to do. And I'm fairly certain he's talked about this, but I haven't seen it other than reading quotes. And you won't see it on Nesson because he's not going to fucking badmouth the team on Nesson as much as I wish he would. But anyways, Jim Rice is there, as he's there every year. He's there every year, sharing his knowledge of the game because, he's a fucking Hall of Famer. Well, he was apparently he's talking to a player in the cage during BP, and a staff member of the team interrupted. And apparently this fucking runt told Jim Rice that what he was sharing with the player did not align with the organization's hitting approach. Huh? What? Like, even if it wasn't, let's say hypothetically, this kid's right, where the organization's hitting approach whatever the fuck that is, what could that possibly be? Right? Think about that. The goal should be put the bat on the ball, swing it. See, I'm fucking mad throwing my hands around. Put the bat on the ball, swing at strikes, get on base, drive in runs. Shouldn't that be the organization's approach to hitting? Like, what else could it be? Unless the approach is uh, put the ball in the air as many times as possible and hope that 1 out of 15 at bats is a home run. Just smashing solo home runs all over the place. Red Sox baseball, yay! So I guess Jim Ed asked this fucking person if he had played professional baseball, and the response was no. And then it was, quote, "It was something I didn't like because I felt I was disrespected. I didn't throw myself on anyone. I'm sitting down having coffee. Nobody's bothering me. Someone comes over and asks me a question. What am I supposed to say? I didn't go and get this kid. I didn't go and bring this kid and say, hey, hit like this. He came over and talked to me," end quote. Fucking bananas. Really? After the fucking guy said he didn't play ball, Jim said, quote, "Then you can't talk to me. Look at the monitor, do what you do, and don't talk to me," end quote. Fuck off. Fuck. I mean, he's 10,000% right. This fucking pipsqueak uh, is probably still employed. He's probably one of Craig Breslow's fucking yes men. But this has frosted my ass because it's like, it goes to show, and fuck, this is a constant theme today, but it's like, I'm old, okay? I don't expect, people should just be nice. Like, younger people need to be nice to not just people that are older, but everyone. But they're not, because they're fucking clueless and they have no goddamn clue how to talk to other human beings. So when Jim says, look at the monitor, do what you do, don't talk to me, he's 1,000% right. It's shut the fuck up, dude. I'm in the fucking Hall of Fame. Why? Because I grounded into a ton of double plays. You want to know why? Because I fucking put the bat on the ball. 298 lifetime hitter. If you fucking put glasses on his last 3 years, he would have hit 300. But no, he'd be a fucking stubborn asshole. That pisses me off too. God damn it, Jim. Glasses. Why would that have been so hard? Just when you hit so you could see the fucking baseball. Like, the fact that this is what Craig Breslow wants, they're just going to be mediocre forever. They're going to get lucky with all these kids they got coming up that Breslow had nothing to do with. Dombrowski guys and fucking, who was that other dude? That fucking other dork that they brought in whose name I can't remember because it's not worth remembering. But fucking hell, dude. You grow up, like, if you're my age, you grew up with baseball, like, where you wanted to be a professional baseball player. That was the thing. How many kids want to be professional baseball players now? Zero. They all want to be on fucking YouTube, dancing around, pulling their cock and doing other shit. Oh man, what am I doing? Garrett Crochet. Big money for you, Garrett, who said, I'm not negotiating during the season. Meh. Well, yeah, look how that goes when they fucking flash a bunch of money in front of you. After how many games has this kid played? I mean, let me take a quick peek at the number of games. Number of games for Garrett Crochet, 105 over the course of 5 seasons. 33 of those starts. All right. He has thrown a grand total in his Major League Baseball professional career 224 innings. Oh. Now, look, He's probably pretty good, and I hope he is. We'll see. He's pitching today. Yeah, because that makes all the difference in the world. He's probably good. He's probably really good. But look, now there's some responsibility here, pal. Let's see how it goes. Anyways, fucking Red Sox. All right, a couple of quick things. First and foremost, we are getting very close to WrestleMania. We're now, I don't know what, 3 weeks away, roughly, a little less than 3 weeks away from WrestleMania 41, which has a chance to be a big fucking deal. Uh, like Raw the other day was good. The Cena's just so fucking good. He's so good on the mic. It's so stupid. And these crowds in Europe have been just exemplary. The crowds back here in the States have a lot to live up to. I hope they do this every year where they fucking just go overseas for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and let these people go fucking bananas. Oh, it'd be so good. Um, it's setting up more and more, at least in my mind, to be a Cena winning and then spending the rest of the year fighting a bunch of guys every month, different guys every month until he gets towards the end of the year. And I'm not sure how they're gonna play it. Like honestly, like the writing here has to be exemplary because thus far it's been really good. So it needs to go out on a high. Like, do you want to send him out as a heel? Honestly, I think it would be fucking awesome. But I can't imagine they're gonna do that. I mean, hey, 1 year of fewer Make-A-Wish commitments for John. Nice job, buddy. Way to go. Way to go. Like the thing that bothers me though is that my guess it's the Saturday night main event, and they're making it out like it's CM Punk's main event. Like, no, the Sunday night. It's a Sunday thing. The Saturday night main event is not as big a deal, in my opinion. But him, Reigns, Rollins, it'll be a good match for the most part. But then it leaves them out of Sunday, at least on paper, or at least as it's being presented to us. I don't really see that being the case. But we shall see. I mean, the main event last year was a big deal, so I'm curious to see how this one goes. The downside is they have to keep topping themselves. But I mean, look, that's part of the gig, yeah, part of the deal. So yeah, so there's that. Now, here's what when I started the show and said I had an idea. I was having a conversation with a coworker, and somehow, I think it was Len Bias. Um, Len Bias came up in conversation, and the conversation was, imagine how, because all right, we were talking about the Celtics, and then it was somebody was talking about the documentary series that's going on, Celtic City, which I haven't watched, but I probably should. Um, it was like, oh my God, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and then nothing. I'm like, wow, it's there was a plan in place to a point. You were going to have Reggie Lewis and Len Bias, and obviously both of them died. And so somebody said that's a huge injustice. I'm like, huh, a sports injustice. Now, in the grand scheme of things, both of those guys dying, I wouldn't really call it exactly an injustice, but I mean, it got me thinking. What are some of the great sports injustices in history? And here's the thing, right? I put the note in the phone where I put notes that pop up into my head, and then I kind of forgot about it until yesterday. But I like the idea. I think in theory it's pretty good, right? Think about it. What are the greatest injustices in the history of sports throughout the course of sports? Like the 72, I think it was 1972, um men's basketball gold medal game, USSR and the United States, where the officials completely and 1000% robbed the US to the point where Doug Collins, like, still fucking 60 years later, is pissed off. That's a sports injustice. Like Diego Maradona and his hand of God, where it was a 100% clear handball that was not called in the World Cup in what I think 84. And Argentina won the match, and hence the World Cup. Injustice. So much so I couldn't even tell you. I think it was Germany, but I can't remember who it was they were playing. That's an injustice. Len Bias being the second pick and then dying. I mean, I wouldn't really call that an injustice, but I guess in some way, like if you're a Celtics fan, if you're a Celtics diehard, it's an injustice to you because it led to the 90s being total shit. So I would like to ask for all three of you that are listening to the show, give me, if you have one, what you would consider to be the greatest injustice in sports. Now, it could be as big or as small as you want. You could say something like Pete Rose not getting into the Hall of Fame is an injustice. I kind of disagree, but kind of don't. Same with like Barry Bonds not getting into the Hall of Fame, an injustice. All the steroid guys not getting into the Hall of Fame is kind of an injustice. But think about that. You could have uh, hundreds of these things, and I think it would make for a very good. I think it would make for an excellent separate podcast. But I'm not going to do that. So if somebody wants to steal the idea, I would happily contribute and be part of the program. But I don't have time for another shitty podcast, right? But yeah, the greatest injustices in sports. Mull that over. Think about it. You can, if you have my number, send me a text. I'm happy to use it. You can call in, which would be preferable, 617-804-1557. Call in. Let me know what you would consider to be one of the great injustices in all of sports. And speaking of 617-804-1557, the complaint line, I do have a couple of voicemails from our friend Mike.
So I really like the comparison of the person who never leaves to the person who you can never get off a phone call with. And the big similarity is that you don't want to go out with that person and you don't want to get on the phone call with that person. Unless you have hours and hours extra, which doesn't really happen. Looking at those teeth, I've had issues too, and it does suck, and you spend a ton. Do you use the floss sticks? I'm a big floss stick guy the last year, like every night religiously. And every floss stick that goes into the trash is just, one floss stick closer to my ultimate demise here. The bag of floss sticks is only so big, if you know what I mean. But also that what struck me was July in Australia. Like, isn't it their winter? So aren't you leaving the nice weather here to go to their garbage weather there? I don't know. But side note, I was just sipping on a bourbon the other day, and I was wondering, does Dave LaPointe like bourbon? Could he be a bourbon connoisseur? You know, do you get to that level, or is it just the brewskis? So something to chew on there. I'm a big Woodford fan. Want to try the Woodford Double Oak, but yeah, nice bourbon, maybe a Scotch on the rocks, and little WWE. Good to go, baby.
They crammed a lot into that 90-second voicemail, so nice job. Great recall to the comparison of the person who never leaves to the person you can't get off the phone. They are the same person. However, they're the same person, yet totally different. The person who never leaves is like someone uh, you occasionally want to be with, whereas the person you can't get off the phone is probably somebody you don't want to talk to. So there's that. Floss sticks, buddy, come on. That the sheer volume of plastic waste. Just use floss, for fuck's sake. Those stupid sticks. I don't get the sticks. I don't understand it. So no, I'm a standard floss guy. Australia in July. Here's the rub about Australia. Most of the time the weather's fine. So yes, technically it's winter. In theory, I would spend some time in the Northern Territory, which is the temperatures are still going to be in the 70s, just not muggy and gross. And then we're supposed to be the Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, so it'll be cooler on the coast there. But still, I mean, it's you're fucking Australia essentially is flirting with the equator all year round, so it's warm most of the time. I was planning to go to Melbourne, which is in Victoria, South Australia, which would be cooler. But I mean, the weather's not garbage. There's only a handful of places in the country where it snows, and it's Tasmania in the mountains, and even that's not. The other part of the plan was to go to New Zealand, where it would be cold and snowy in July, where I would like to go. However, that's probably not going to happen. Just in Australia, probably isn't going to happen at this point either. But that's still very much a work in progress, up in the air. I hope I get to go. Like, I want to go back in the worst way. But I don't know. We'll see. Bourbon. Here's the thing about bourbon, right? Hmm, I don't hate bourbon, okay? I am I like rye bourbon. Angel's Envy rye is fantastic. Woodford is fine. But I mean, like, here's the thing, if I'm having an old fashioned, Woodford is what I would have it with, right? I am much more partial to Scotch and to Irish whiskey than I am to bourbon. I am of the mind that 16-year-old Lagavulin is the finest brown water on earth. The Dingle Distillery in Ireland is one of my personal favorites, and I can't wait to get back there someday. And then the other thing too, I'm not a rocks guy. Um, I might put a small ice cube in my bourbon, scotch, or whiskey, but I'm typically drinking it neat as the Lord intended. Because I'm very religious when it comes to the brown water in my glass. Lot going on there. Good thing we have another one.
So I may have just hit a new low. Had about 3 boxes of stuff in the garage. We were cleaning out the garage to go to Savers or a thrift store or whatever. So we go to Savers, bring my oldest son, who's 13 soon, and dropped off the stuff, and they give you 20% coupon. So we go inside, and he hadn't really been in like a thrift store, which I guess that's something to be, I don't know, happy about. something we don't need to do. And we're going around, and he finds, like a Nike sweatshirt he likes. So Nike sweatshirt's pretty expensive, so even at Savers it was like $15, which is wild. Anyway, so I'm looking around, looking through the DVDs, looking at stuff, and never find anything, but end up going to check out and go to put put the sweatshirt down. I'm just looking around, kind of people watching, and the lady is like not paying attention to me, not even acknowledging me. I'm like, what the heck, So waiting and looking around. She's scanning or doing something, and finally, after like 3 minutes, she looks at me. She goes, I don't work here, right? Oh, excuse me? She goes, you're in the self-checkout line. And I look at my son. He goes, what are you doing, Dad? Look up, and 10 inches from my face is the big sign that says self-checkout. So I'm standing there like an idiot while people are going and checking out, and I'm waiting for for them to acknowledge me and whatever. So may have hit a new low on that one, but at least we got a sweet sweatshirt out of the deal. $15 sweatshirt at Savers for $12. That's all I got for you.
So I'll address the big thing, at least what I think he is considering to be the new low, which is that he was just totally oblivious to the self-checkout line, that's a senior moment right there. Again, the prevailing theme of today's episode is getting old. And Mike, congratulations. Your son caught you in a fucking moment where you're old. If you literally were standing there for 3 minutes, which, yeah, it might be a bit of hyperbole, but I mean, for however long you were standing there, yeah, that's not good, man. That's not good. I do take issue with your thrift store take, though. Uh, Savers is fucking expensive. Like, Savers is barely a thrift store anymore. Like, I don't know what the fuck happened to those people. They realized that people didn't want to buy new clothes anymore, so they jacked up their fucking prices. And, kept all the good shit for themselves. I hate new clothes now. So I will buy a lot of clothes. Anything that isn't an undergarment, is, not thrift stores per se, but Poshmark. If you're not familiar with Poshmark, it's like an online thrift store. Their prices are kind of ridiculous too, but I would much rather spend money on that than go find new clothes. Why? Because allow me to hop up onto this exceedingly high horse. The fashion, textile, garment industry is the second biggest polluter on the planet behind fossil fuels. That's right. All of those brand new clothes you're buying, all those fucking fancy labels, all those brand new Nike sweatshirts, the amount of crap that then gets dumped into landfills over the course of a year, it will astound you. And so, aside from being both poor and cheap, I'm being somewhat responsible when it comes to the overall well being of the planet Earth by shopping thrift. That might be the fucking douchiest thing I've ever said. Oh, boy, that's bad. I have no issue. I mean, look, overall, I think it's smart, right? Uh, you're saving a bit of money. You're getting shit that is fine. Nothing wrong with it. Take it home, wash it. There you go. All set. No big deal. Yeah, I don't understand the whole anti-thrift thing. Like, you're not homeless. I'm not homeless. I'm just cheap and poor. There you go. Even if I wasn't poor, I think I would probably still buy used clothing. Oh, you don't know who was wearing that before? Yeah, no shit, asshole. If you're gonna spend your whole life being afraid of dumb shit like that, well, then you've got a bigger problem. I'm not saying you, Mike. That no offense. I hope you didn't buy any DVDs because what's the point these days? It's funny you mentioned Australia in the last call. Like the only place that I've seen DVDs in active use over the course of the last 5 years was in middle of nowhere Australia, where like getting internet signals is tough. So a lot of places, a lot of accommodations will have like DVD libraries still, which is, for an American, a bit jarring to see in 2023 when I was there. So yeah. All right. So I did want to mention that I received a text message. And so I'm not one to like respond to the random spam texts that come through on my phone. I'm not. Because I it might be funny, but you're opening up a can of worms when you do that. I mean, literally, look into it. So when you get it, just report it as spam, block it, delete it, whatever, move on. This is a little bit different because it's not my phone. This is on Google Voice, which is home to the complaints and observations complaint line at 617-804-1557. Monday afternoon, a text message came in. Quote, "Hey, baby girl, I've loved looking at the pics of the wedding. Looked like a lot of fun. If you wouldn't mind, can you send me Kyle and Danielle's address? I want to send them a gift." And gift is a gift emoji. Now, there's a lot to unpack here, at least in my opinion, mainly because, it's when you send a number, when you send a text to a number that may or may not uh, be. I mean, I've had this number now for I don't know what 6 months, and you start the text with "Hey, baby girl." Oof. And I'm debating on whether or not I should reply to this. I might hold off. Now, 860, it's from an 860 area code, which is Connecticut. I don't know. I'm debating. So I might stay tuned to see how it works out between Kyle and Danielle, their nuptials, and this person who starts text messages with "Hey, baby girl." I don't think I have ever said that to a woman ever. And maybe it's a literal girl. I don't know. But I just like sharing shit from the complaint line. I'm getting tired. Fucking, it's like what time? Not even 10 o'clock yet. Ugh, it's gonna be a long fucking day. Uh, so yeah, so there's that. But that was cool. I don't know. Hopefully, I get more of those. If you want to, feel free to send text messages too to 617-804-1557. That'll be fun. All right. It is time for this week my favorite part of the show, the end. This has been a bad one. This is what happens when I don't have anything to talk about. It gets boring and dull and monotonous and blah. I mean, I talked about the Red Sox, but who the fuck cares, right? Did I complain? What did I fucking list here in the open? No, I got everything. Okay. So anyways, yeah, 3 gripes. Gripe number 1, as I foreshadowed earlier, small talk. Is there something more annoying that's actually somewhat necessary? And then small, like, think about it, right? I had a work event last week, and of the 20 or so people that were in attendance, I knew maybe 4 of them. So that meant small talk. And you know what came of that? Absolutely nothing. Yeah, massive waste of time, really, but a necessity in the moment. So it's like you have to think about how you start the conversation in order to get it rolling enough so that you don't have to be inconvenienced with coming up with more shit. That's my feeling on small talk. And so I've done a little bit of research over the course of the last 3, 4 years or so, trying to figure out better ways to participate in such a tedious task. And one of the questions that I will occasionally ask you is, hey, what, after the intro, which is, hey, how's it going? How's things? Like, depending on how the answer, right? I work with a guy when I asked him, "Hey, man, how's things?" And it's in the work context, and he's like, "Yeah, there are things." I'm like, "Are you fucking pain in the balls?" So I'm like, "You know what? Hey, what's got you excited right now, man?" And he kind of sat on that and didn't really give me an answer. However, I used that in the setting last week. What's got you excited right now? And it is such um an open, vague question that some people look at you like you got fucking 6 heads, and then other people are super eager to tell you what's on their mind. And that's where that question works and works okay. But like, man, then there are people who you kind of wish you didn't ask that question to, but yeah, what's got you excited? But I mean, and not has doesn't have to be exactly that, but I have found that that one works a little bit on occasion, more so than any of the other. Like, what's your plans for the weekend, or what was the favorite thing you did today, or what made you happy today? Like, shit like that's kind of weird. I like to use the sort of the overarching what's got you excited. Tell me about something that's got you excited without saying, if you phrase it with tell me like you do in a sales context, which who know, I fucking suck at sales, so I'm probably doing that wrong too. But yeah, small talk. It just can be so tedious and annoying that it almost makes you not want to talk to people, which is not the case because I like interesting people, and but the problem is I'm so boring that I don't attract interesting people. God, this is why am I doing this to myself today? Fucking hell. Gripe number 2. And again, we're in the part of the program where I don't have anything to talk about. So I have 2 complaints that have showed up in 3 gripes multiple times. Gripe number 2, an update on the Curse of Oak Island. Yeah, that's right. We're back at it again. The Curse of Oak Island. The fucking History Channel. What a scam. So last night, the Bruins game ended. They put up a decent fight against a good team. Good for you. But they've lost 9 in a row. Tank City, baby. And this draft apparently is going to stink. So, we can't even tank right around here. So I'm watching the show. You flipping on because there's nothing on. I'm not watching the NIT, not watching the boys' high school McDonald's All American game. I'm not doing that. And I'm not going to spend time investing in a multi-part program on any of the streaming services because it was relatively late in the day. It's about 9:15, and I was probably going to be up for a bit because I had some laundry going, but sucked into Oak Island yet again. Yet again. Last night they found some cut logs in the swamp. So they're still trying to fucking figure shit out. It absolutely slays me that they're already close to finishing its 12th fucking season. 12! This shit proves to me, once again, TV audiences are dumb. As enough people continue to watch it that it stays on this long. It is profitable enough for the History Channel or Discovery, whoever the fuck owns them now, Warner Brothers, some other fucking giant conglomerate, soulless, money-grubbing conglomerate. This show is profitable enough that it stays on. Now look, admittedly, I know nothing about the way television productions work, as evidenced by the schooling I took at the hands of friend of the show, Jacques, when I talked about Lifetime movies, but what the fuck, man? Like, why is this still a thing? How many times can the voiceover guy go, could this be proof of the money pit in Lot 6? Or could this be proof that the money pit collapsed? Like, come on. It's the same fucking thing over and 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 over. It's the same thing. They find nothing. They keep finding buttons, and like yesterday it was shoe leather. They found a dowel, and it's like, oh my god, this I can see it coming now. This season is going to end where they find like what could conceivably be actual treasure. And when I say treasure, I mean like one gold coin or one doubloon of some kind, right? They're going to find one thing, and then the season is going to end on a cliffhanger. And then next season, is when it all ties together. That's my gut. Because look, I want them to find something. They're not going to find the Holy Grail. Like, let's put that theory to bed. But it would not shock me if they pulled up like a bunch of fucking Spanish coins, right? That have been there since the 1400s or whatever. Because then we can like debunk this whole like the Christopher Columbus shit, like being the first person to hit North America. You know, that would be ideal. If we could find proof that that fucking cocksucker wasn't the first person to find North America in a more European centric, in a more in a more mainland European centric manner, because we all know the Vikings were in Newfoundland. So maybe the Vikings like stole a bunch of Spanish coins and then hit Oak Island and like, ah, fuck it, let's bury it here. We'll be back, and never came back because they. Why would they? Oh, that's right. I don't know. They all died. But just find something, right? I want them to find evidence of like who was there, some sort of explanation as to why they chose this random ass place. But like this whole curse thing, like it's not a curse. Like, accidents happened. Not a curse. No one's died yet. Boy. But look, just pull the plug or admit there's nothing really there. Like, enough. You keep sucking me in. And here's the thing, like I don't like seek it out, right? Like I'm not recording it. I'm not putting it on the old TiVo. But apparently enough people are. Fuck. Gripe number 3. The commuter rail. Congrats on being on 3 gripes for at least the 15th time. The commuter rail here in great state of Massachusetts. Quite the accomplishment, quite frankly. Look, when I talk about the train, it means that I'm totally out of shit to talk about. Like, I've got nothing. However, it's been a constant complaint over the course of close to the last 10 years of my life. So here we are, right? They recently added another line to their already overworked system, as there is now a commuter rail train that'll take folks between Fall River and New Bedford and Boston. Great. It's only been a plan for about 25 years or so, and it's been about 65 years since there was a daily to Boston. welcome to, I don't know, the 19th century commuter rail, where you have a system that can take people from one place to another on a train. Riveting. You would think, though, that all that time would give them enough runway to figure out the schedule. But of course, as is always the case with these people, they've made it a fucking mess. Not only for those of us that are cursed to use this fucking thing every week, but people who have chosen to drive. My brother called me the other day and said that the highway in the morning is noticeably busy. Now, he comes up from Fairhaven. So he drives Fairhaven up 24 to 93 into Boston, Cambridge, and everything else. Quite frankly, I find it appalling, but that's what he does. Mainly because he has to. But I mean, the reason is that the schedule is such shit that more people are having to drive. So basically, the way that it worked is like the line that I take, they've changed the schedule so much that you either need to go to work 45 minutes earlier or 15 minutes late. That's what they've manipulated the schedule that much. Same with the other end on the way home. You either get home 15 minutes earlier or like an hour and a half later, because they've changed that. And you know what the best part of it is? They're like, oh, increased peak service. Like, nope. No. 4:30 is not peak service. 5:30, 6:18, and then 7:50. That's not peak service. Like, get out. They botched this thing so badly, and they have for the last 5 years. The people in charge of this system are too busy collecting fat fucking paychecks to have a goddamn clue what the real world is like. Like, the number of people that I see now in the morning are not the usual people that I used to see on the 650 train. Because now the 650 train is the 707 train. So a bunch of people that needed to get into Boston by 8 o'clock are no longer able to get into Boston by 8 o'clock on the 707. So now they have to take the fucking 6:15 a.m. train to get into work 45 minutes earlier. How does that make sense? You're poorly managed, you're overpriced, everybody that you have is overworked and underpaid. It's foolish. We are allegedly a world-class city with fucking third world transportation. And it's all because of the automobile industry. That is it. The fucking one of the large that's a great topic. Like, how much damage did the automobile industry really do, truly, to this country over the course of the last 120 years? Immeasurable, if you ask me. Functioning rail service would make a world of difference. But you can't now. You're too far behind. As evidenced by, reusing track that's 100 years old, and not being able to restart a fucking one line of service. Took them 25 fucking years, billions upon billions of dollars. Ugh. All right, that's it for the show. Thankfully, this one's over. This one sucked. Now, look, if you got through this whole thing, you're a fucking idiot, because I barely got through this whole thing. Feel like dog shit again. What the fuck? I could take a nap. Ugh. All right. 617-804-1557. I am on Instagram at Complaints Pod. There is a link in there. If you haven't donated and you can, please donate to the staff of Martin's Restaurant in Abington. I would appreciate that. I'm on Facebook at Complaints Pod, but fuck Facebook. I'm also on Threads and Twitter and I don't know. Other shit. Apparently YouTube. 617-804-1557. Call in. That's the complaint line. Call in. What's on your mind? Talk about something. A legitimate complaint. Complain about something. If you've never called in before, now's the time. And then also think about, give me an example of your biggest sports injustice. I'd love to hear what's on your mind. So thank you so much as always. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Godspeed. Ta ta.